So you're a citizen now. Well done. I heard something about a constable tossing people down sewer drains. It's Sotha Sil. Shortly after you and I parted company, I sought him out to discuss our Daedric artifact. I fear something is askew. His worse. Initially, I dismissed it as boredom, fatigue, or even the first signs of senility. But now, after observing him at length, we will leverage your hard-earned citizenship to make inquiries. First, I will make it known that in light of your recent exploits, I offered to take you on as my aide, and offer you eagerly. As the most powerful mage in the Brast Fortress, I find it difficult to have proper conversations with common folk. They grow silent at my approach, then whisper as I leave. Indeed. It's commonly understood that servants grumble about their masters, loudly, to those they consider equals. Ask them about Sotha Sil's recent behavior. I'm confident you have questions, of course. Ask what you must. The forces at work here are cunning indeed. You should be prepared for anything. He is inscrutable, but he's also unflinching. Sil always moves deliberately, quietly, and one step at a time, like clockwork. In the short time we've been here, he has twice adjusted city patrol routes and delivered 3 revisions to the fortress charter. Trust me when that's for you to discover. Don't bother speaking with members of the Congress. Varuni's faith in Sotha Sil is unbreakable. Chancellor Luciana resents my presence, but she's no fool. I go where I please, when I please. An open confrontation between us would likely leave hundreds dead. Well, you've met Varuni. She's pleasant, without being vapid or boring. Then again, her doe-eyed faith in Sotha Sil turns my stomach. I find religious attachments repulsive. Gascoigne serves as Chancellor. He commands respect, but suffers from the peculiar character flaw of demanding praise at all times.
Important business back in Vardenfell. I can't be late. I need to leave.
Forward, it cries. Forward to the fruits of cheap ambition. Forward to the promise of everlasting kingdoms.
Will you stop mocking me?
You're Lord Fyr's newest steward, huh? Can we talk later? If I don't finish this lamp inventory, Gascoigne will... Yeah, Gascoigne must know how much I love doing paperwork. A few days ago, Sotha Sil ordered us to rip out all the lamps in here and replace them with less efficient. A bunch of factotums loaded them onto a dolly and dumped them somewhere in the mechanical fundament. Hey, I know that look. If you're looking to poach a free lamp, don't bother. Half the old switches don't work with the new lamp, so we've had to manufacture new switches, and half the time the switches get installed backwards, which means we have to do it all over again. And don't even get me started on the lamp assembly. Sotha Sil could have turned the fabricators to make the new lamps with a flick of his finger, but he demanded that we do it instead. Do you have any idea?
So you're Divayth Fyr's new auxiliary, eh? Tough luck, friend. I've heard he's an insufferable Not anymore. In the old days, sure. He was easy to please because he was never around. These days, he changes his mind about something every night. Constant meetings. Trust me, this is unprecedented. I'm afraid something's wrong with his enhancements. Like he's having trouble regulating. He's a different person, I swear. Yes, speaking ill of a god never turns out well. In the old days, he'd take it in stride. Commit your small blasphemies, he'd say. The fire of doubt turns ignorance to steam. Right. I'm sure you have plenty of work to do for...
So you're the one Divayth tapped to be his aide in the Brass Fortress. Sorry to hear that. Provost Varuni's ancestors hail from House Telvanni, just like Lord Fyr. But honestly, they couldn't be. Not as bad as you might expect. She's young, youth comes with impatience, but I've never felt unfairly judged, and she's generous with her praise. Honestly, if I had the choice between serving now more than ever, I don't pretend to understand his motives, but he's never been so demanding. One example? He insists that we turn all the lights down before he enters a room. Huh! Flipping switches. That's rich. Each lamp has its own switch, and some lamps have multiple switches. And if that isn't bad enough, some switches control multiple lamps. Don't even get me started. Varuni might demand some obscure tome in the middle of the night or chide someone for leaving oil on the floor, but that's the worst of it. Sotha Sil exiled and all. Right, don't let me keep you. I can't imagine how demanding Divayth Fyr must be.
Were you treated well by the menials? I assume they battered you with complaints. Yes, well, I could have told you that. That's why I sent you here after all. What kinds of demands? Be specific. The lamps in the locutorium, yes? The large assembly room over there? The auxiliaries and factotums have been laboring in there day and night ever since we arrived. Impressive. I assumed I'd have to explain it to you. Of course, this requires a functional lamp. I assume he ordered them destroyed. Speak to that high elf of yours, Neramo.
I have important business back in Vardenfell. I can't be late. I need to leave.
Well, forward it cries. Forward
I hope to see you again, Assistant. Pray tell, what did Divayth Fyr have to say? I fear that he and I might have gotten off to a poor start. Did he ask about me? Raynor? Surely this is something I can handle myself. Impressing Divayth Fyr could greatly increase my standing in the Dwemerich scholarly... He just wants us to build a lamp? What an odd request. No matter. I would be happy to offer my ample expertise, provided you let... Some kind of tubular housing. Probably meant to protect a glass interior? Difficult to say. A complex filament of some kind. The weaving on this fiber, it must be machine-made. I should be taking notes. Some kind of compressor. For funneling a gas, perhaps? Interesting. Look at the apertures on this. It must be some kind of modulator that changes the nature of the light. Fascinating. Compressors, filaments, housings, unlike the other lamps. These compress some kind of geodic gas into metal tubes, then modulate the light to create another kind of illumination that mortal... Yes, with Rayna's assistance, I believe we can recreate this lamp without much difficulty. Of course, you'll need to procure the requisite parts. You plan to do what? Oh dear. Well, this seems like a terrible idea, but I shall rely upon you and Lord Fyr to protect me.
Now there's the look of someone on the hunt for something specific. As a matter of fact, I acquired some of those just a few days ago. Apparently, someone's tossing out the old lighting to make way for the new. They're not easy to come by anymore, though. It's a bit less than I'd prefer, but if that's all you can afford, I'm a reasonable woman.
Combatants needed for a perilous task. Please respond for more information.
Well?
Ah, you've returned! Excellent! Raynor and I have cobbled together a serviceable... Wonderful! I'm confident this lamp will conform to the exact specifications of the lamps they removed. Excellent! Excellent! No need to return here, of course. Kirith should be back straight away, and I'll have her run the complete...
There must be some sort of mistake. I'm not meant to be here.
Your path has been set before you, auxiliary. I suggest you learn to walk.
Ah, I was beginning to worry. Not about you, of course. These apostles have been circling me like cliff racers, looking for an autograph, no doubt. Well done. I assume you discovered the special property of these lamps. Why does my dear friend Seal go to such lengths? Visible light. Fascinating. To help with factotum navigation, perhaps? Huh, no matter. Further.
Did you say something about putting the lamp on the balcony? We might have a problem. Raynor and that annoying high elf finished your lamp, but there's a problem. On the way here, I overheard an aide complaining about some new security measures Sotha Sil. Looks that way, unless you want blood on your hands, of course. But that might complicate our sponsorship a smidge, yeah? Just be quick and quiet, like me. You'll be fine.
Not getting into any mischief, are you?
Counter this. You good? Of course you are.
I convinced Sotha Sil that the Congress requires yet another lecture on the sanctity of clockwork automata. He eagerly agreed. Seemed almost giddy about it. Good. Sil's lecture should begin any moment now. Stand ready to activate the lamp. I'm reasonably certain that something will happen.
None may be experimenting on my blessed factotums. I will remind you yet again. My beloved factotums serve as an extension of my divine will. Accost them, and you accost me. In the past, I have encouraged a child's curiosity and accepted generosity.
What is that? What's happening?
After him! Someone seize that imposter! I am the Clockwork God. You will kneel before me. Yeah.
I haven't the time to discuss this, Varuni. Wittingly or unwittingly, Lord Seht no longer serves the people of Clockwork City. Now, if you will excuse me.
Gascon, where are you going? When news of this gets out, we need to issue a statement or at least gather the Congress for an emergency session.
I have urgent matters to attend to. Make whatever statement you like. I will return soon.
Well, that was enlightening. To think I've been speaking to Sotha Sil's shadow all this time. It seems so... Well, I don't mean to alarm you, but I will be frank. If an imposter sits upon the throne aligned and learns how to wield the power of this place, stay with Varuni. With Sotha Sil exposed as an imposter, the Congress will fall into turmoil. In such chaos, dark truths always float.
My dear Lord Seht, what happened to you? I can scarcely believe what we just witnessed. How could this happen? How could a Fyr, of course. Always the iconoclast. I'll bet he's snickering at us even now. It doesn't matter. I appreciate your diligence. Yes, he was acting strangely, wasn't he? He always chafed under Lord Set's rule. Now he finally has a pretext to seize control, and the real Lord Seht will aid us eventually, I know it. In the meantime, we must do for ourselves. Thank you for a classic Gascon, fleeing to his chambers when things go poorly. I'm sure that news of Lord Set's condition has already made it to the streets. We have to move quickly to prevent a panic. Try to talk to Gascon. He clearly doesn't care what I have to say, but he might listen to an exodromal. You remain, a novelty. Check his rectory in the west wing of the Basilica. He hides in there sometimes to nurse a bruised ego or write passive-aggressive memoranda. Don't let Gascoigne wriggle out of this. He has a duty and an obligation, as do I. What? Yes. Yes, I'll be fine. This makes no sense. I don't understand how a shadow could take Lord Set's place. Maybe this is some sort of test. But why test us? The Clockwork Apostles haven't strayed. We build compromised. You make it sound as if Lord Set suffers some kind of defect. Like a crypt. Do you know what the sermons say? Complexity belies the truth. The world rests on simple principles.